We all have goals. And what's the first thing most of us think about when we consider how to achieve them? I need to get motivated.
The surprising thing, motivation is exactly what you don't need. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a surprising study that reveals why motivation is not the key in order for you to achieve your goals. And the best part is the strategy I'm going to show you today is one, highly practical, and then also two, is scientifically proven to double or even triple your chances for success.
Here's what you need to know and how you can apply it to your life. So let's say you have a goal, like many people, to build up a habit like exercising consistently. Researchers found that while many people are motivated to work out, get healthy, and get fit, there's a clear difference of people who actually follow through with their goal and they do one specific thing that's different from everybody else. Here's how researchers discovered the one thing that makes it more likely for you to stick to your goals. In 2001, researchers in Great Britain began working with 248 people to build better exercise habits over the course of 2 weeks. They were divided into 3 groups. The first group was a controlled group, and they were asked to track how often they exercised. The second group was the motivation group. The second group was asked to also track their workouts, but researchers also added motivation in the mix by giving them books and resources with the benefits of exercise and how it could reduce the risk of health diseases. And then lastly, there was of course a third group. Now the third group got the same motivation mix like the second group to make sure that they had equal levels of motivation. However, they were also asked to create a plan for when and where they would exercise over the following week. Specifically, each member of the third group completed the following sentence: during the next week, I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on day, at time, in place. After receiving these instructions, all 3 groups left.
Now the results are pretty surprising. Group 1 and Group 2, about 35 to 38% of them exercise at least once per week. Also, remember that motivational mix of resources that they gave to the second group? It had no meaningful impact whatsoever when it came to their actual behavior. But here's the interesting thing with the third group. About 91% exercise at least once per week. So that's more than double the normal rate as in the first and second group. The only difference that they did is they actually wrote down when and where they're gonna exercise. And the researchers, they started to finalize that motivation has no significant effects on behavior. Now let's compare these results to how most people talk about making their change or accomplishing their goals. People usually talk about motivation, willpower, manifest, law of attraction, and things like that, right? But the truth is, if you want to make a change at all, then you do have to have some power of motivation or have some type of willpower or a desire to manifest what you want. However, the researchers discovered that what allows you to manifest your goals and turn it into real world action isn't your level of motivation, but rather your plan of implementation. The sentence that the third group filled out is what researchers call an implementation intention, which is a plan you make beforehand about when and where you're about to act.
Cues that can trigger a habit come in a wide range of forms. The notification you hear from your phone, the smell of pizza, the sound of sirens, but the 2 most common cues are time and location. Implementation intentions leverage both of these cues. Broadly speaking, the format for creating a implementation intention is: when situation X arises, I will perform response Y. Hundreds of studies have shown that implementation intentions are effective for sticking to our goals. The punchline is clear. People who make a specific plan for when and where they will perform a new habit are more likely to follow through.
Too many people try to change their behavior without having the basic details figured out first. We tell ourselves things like, oh, I'm gonna eat healthier, or I'm gonna start writing more, I'm gonna start shooting more content for YouTube. But we never say when and where it's actually gonna happen and when it's gonna take place. We leave it up to just chance or hope that we will remember to do it, or the biggest trap that a lot of people fell into is when we feel motivated to do it. So what does the implementation intention do in this case? It takes away the foggy notions and that vague language of, oh, I want to be more healthy, or I want to work out more, or I should vote, and things that we tell ourselves all the time, and it transforms it into a concrete plan of action, which is the thing that matters the most, which is the action part that actually changes your life.
More so, It is not always obvious of when and where to take action. Some people spend their entire lives waiting for the time to be right to make an improvement. Once the implementation intention has been set, you don't have to wait for inspiration to strike. Do I have to study for the exams today or not? Do I have to meditate this morning or at lunch? When the moment of action occurs, there's no need to make a decision. You simply follow your predetermined plan. The simple way to apply this strategy to your habits is to fill out this specific sentence. I will behavior at time in location.
So to close this out, if you don't plan out your behaviors, and you're leaving it to willpower and motivation to inspire you how to act. But if you do plan when and where you're going to actually act out a particular behavior, your goal has time and space to actually live in the real world. This shift in perspective allows your environment to act as a cue for your new behavior. To put it simply, planning out when and where you will perform a specific behavior turns your environment for a trigger for action. The time and place triggers your action, not your motivation. So Joey, what's the moral of the story? To be absolutely 100 with you, motivation is super short-lived and does not lead to any consistent action at all. If you want to achieve your goals, then you're going to have to plan out when and where and obviously how you plan to actually execute. However, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, live rich. I'll see you next time.